Good morning. We will start session 1 on chapter data handling. So when we talk about data handling, that is something, the information what we are collecting and how we are organizing it, we will be studying in this chapter. So what is the data? Data is about information collected by all sources. The information collected through all different sources is called as a data. So that can be the data collected from the school, colleges, from the park, from the anywhere, whatever we collected, some source of information, that is called as a data. So this data can be represented graphically as a pictograph, bar graph, double bar graph and pie chart. So when we talk about a pictograph, you can open your textbook as to see the chapter. You can see pictograph is using pictures. Now for example, I can have pictures of a car and I can tell that these many cars were sold in a particular year, right? So that gives us that we can represent using pictures. Bar graph, it is a display of information using bars of uniform width, their height being proportional to their respective values. Double bar graph is a set of two data, that is set of two bars which are represented simultaneously for their comparison. What we call them as a double bar graph. Then we have a pie chart or a circle graph, that means we are representing that in the circular form, which is what we are going to study in this chapter. Then the data what we collect, that data has to be organized. Why? Because the data is a raw data. Now what is this raw data? Raw data is an unorganized data. So to organize that data, we have to group them into frequencies, or you can say that you have to group them into class intervals. The data which is unorganized form is called as a raw data. Raw data can be grouped and presented systematically through grouped frequency distribution. Now how can we present them in a grouped frequency distribution? That is by marking them across the tallies. What do you mean by a frequency? The number of times the particular score or the particular data or the entry occurs is called as a frequency. Now when we call about a grouped frequency distribution, that means we group the data in terms of a class interval. I want you to give the heading as data handling and write down these points what I have written. Two more things also I will write now, that also you can make a note. So something we were discussing about a class interval. So what is this class interval? The grouped frequency distribution is given in the form of a class interval. Class interval consists of the data in a lower class, or you can say the class interval consists of the given data. For example, I can say that 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. That means 40 to 50. These are the scores scored by the students in the periodic test, what you can say. The scores are between 10 to 50. Right? That means, now how many, in a class of, you can say 40 students, the children have scored the marks between 10 to 50. Right? Number of students are 40. Now I have to group. Now how many students have got how many students have got what marks, I need to know in a organized manner. So what I will do is I will organize in the grouped frequency form, that is in the class interval form. This is called as class interval. Between 10 to 20, how many students fall? That means between 10 to 20 marks, how many students have scored 10 to 20? If you can see here children, this 20 is repeated here also. That means I am actually checking between 10 to 19 and this 20 comes here. Between 20 and 30, how many students will fall? I check from 20 to 29 because 30 comes here. Okay? Where this score is called as a lower limit. Not only this, all this side ones are called as a lower limit and this side score are called as a upper limit. So width of the class, or you can say the size of the class interval, is nothing but difference between the upper limit lower limit. Right? So just see here, this is upper limit for 50, lower limit is 40. If I just subtract difference of this, what do I get? I get it as 10. Check here, 40 minus 30, 10, 30 minus 20, 10, 10 minus 0, 10. That means it is nothing but difference between the upper limit and lower limit. Just to tell you, we can also count it. See children, 0 to 10. So, okay, 10 to 20 if I take. Start from 10. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I'm getting 11. But here we got 10, right? 11 because this 20 is repeated here. Right? So, we always consider one less. Otherwise, simple. Difference between the upper and lower limit is called nothing but the size of the class interval. There's one more concept what you have to know, that is range. What is range of the given data? It is the highest score minus lowest score. So in this given data, if I see the highest score is 50, lowest score is, it's actually 0 to 10 we have taken, but in the given data 10 itself is the score. We cannot check the scores given here. So you know how is the data given? For example, the marks scored by students are for approximately say 5, 6, 9, 10, so on till 50. That means, that is why 0 to 10 means 5, 6, 9 will come under 0 to 10 data. In that it will come. What is the lowest score here? Lowest score is 5. So what is range? Range of the data is 45. That's all. For your syllabus, know only this much. Right? So this was a brief introduction about the chapter. Now let's see what exactly how, or you can say that how exactly a pictograph looks, bar graph looks, or a pie chart or a circle graph looks. And there is one more which we haven't discussed is histogram. That also we will discuss in today's class, right? I want you all to sit with the textbook so that you can correlate or you can see the pictures what they have given in your textbook about a particular graph, how they are represented graphically. So when we talk about a graph, children, so in graph, for example, if this is your graph sheet, right, you have small boxes, right? So each box when you see it has from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is how it is. So each box we consider it has 1 unit, right? So while writing scale I will teach you. These are all 1 boxes as 1 unit we consider. So let's see here what are the different types of graphical representation we have. So you can go to the first page where pictograph is given. So what they have done here is where this represents as symbol. They have given a symbol where that symbol represents as 100 cars. You can choose that. So that means in July, what is the sale? Look at the way they have given their children. They have given 2 full pictures of the car and half picture of the car. That means I can tell July the sale is 100 plus 100 plus 50. 250. Look at the August month sale, 3 full car we have. 1 car represents 100 cars. So we have the sale of 300 cars. September we have the sale of 100, 200, 300, 400. So isn't this very simple? Looking at this picture we can just identify, right? But you have to tell what that particular picture represents. Because if I tell you in the month of July I have a sale of 100 cars, I can't sit and give 100 pictures of the car. That is how we just give it in the pictorial form that 1 car is equivalent to 100 cars. Based on that scale we choose and we show this. This is pictograph. You will not have any pictograph in your syllabus this year. I mean, you are not representing anything in the pictograph. That is only for your information that data can also be represented in the pictograph. Next, we will move on to the bar graph. So turn the page, there the given data is in the bar graph. So how bar graph is represented? So you always have an x-axis and and a y-axis. So this is x-axis and it is y-axis, right? This is 0. What is represented in the x-axis always? In x-axis, always the given data is represented. Always the given data children. And in y-axis, always what you can see is numbers. So here if I have to talk about, they have given something about the academic years and increase in number of students, something of that order they have given. So how is the data? It can be anything. It can be also given that what is the sales in the month of August. I can represent August month here. I can represent September month here. So any given data I can represent here. That data can be in numbers. That data can be in a form of words. That data can be in anything in form. Or I can say that number of customers walked into the shopping mall. Number of girls, number of boys, number of men, number of women, number of, okay, these many. So how will I represent? I will represent this by men, I will represent this by women, I will represent this by boys, I will represent this by girls, right? That means we represent data in the x-axis. And what do we represent here? We represent the numbers. How many have come? What is the number? Less, more or whatever. With that we plot. This is in August month of these many number of men. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So looking at this I can tell that August month the sale was whatever 4, whatever number you give. Or number of men in the shopping malls were 4 at this particular time. Right? We can easily read this from the graph here. So bar graph is always represented or it's a display the information using the bar of uniform width. Now as I told you in the graph we have those boxes, right? Each box is a unit. I represent each unit as my one information. This is my, okay, this let me consider this as men. Then this one unit, I am leaving 1 unit space in between. It's up to you. Leave 2 units place. But if you leave 2 units place, leave 2 units place for the next part also. So this I want to represent as women. This box I want to represent it as boys. Right? So it's up to you whether you want to take 1 unit as a box or you want to take 2 units. But whatever you use, throughout you have to use the same. It's just an example what I am giving you. You will more and more understand when we actually do the graph and we represent it. So the definition goes here is a display of information using bars of uniform width, their height being proportional to the respective values. I don't know what values it will come. This might come here, this might only come here, well boys might go here, right? About the respective values we represent. Double bar graph. So a bar graph showing 2 sets of data simultaneously. So I want to show the performance of a child in mathematics and science of a student, right? So let me take 5 students. So this part I will represent as mathematics. This part I will represent as science. I am using, see here, this is 0. 1 unit space I have left. This unit I have used for maths. I will write here maths. This unit I have used for science. Okay, then I will leave again 1 unit space. Another student has got a very good in maths. Second unit I will use for science. Got my idea? Maths and science. I am checking 5 students' data, how they have performed in mathematics and science. That means I want to check the scores at once only. Refer the scores at once only. That means compare the scores at once only. We use double bar graph. How do we know that we should use a double bar graph? There are questions that they represent saying that compare these marks. You'll come to know that it is a double bar graph. Right? Again here, information is given here, that is data is given here, numbers are given in the y-axis. Next one, what we have here is organizing data we have anyhow discussed. Yeah, I want you to turn the next page where we have something written called as bars with a difference. Bars with difference. Okay. Now, what is this bars with a difference? So it is the same thing. Now, what I want to do here is I want to check the marks of a particular students with the data given with respect to the numbers. But here, what we do that is we group them into a particular frequency level. That is nothing but a grouped class interval level. So bar with a difference is nothing but a histogram. How do we do this now? So in histogram, children, you always have data here, agreed, but that data is in the form of a class interval. Remember, numbers what we have. We always represent bars with a difference, that is histogram, only in numbers. Now in bar graph what happens? You also can represent in numbers. You also can represent in names. But in histogram, you cannot represent anything in terms of names. I can't check what is August month say here. If I have to check that, I have to go for a bar graph. Histogram, it is the grouped class interval form what I can say. And again here, numbers. Numbers are nothing but frequency we denote. So what's the difference here? What we do? Again, we use units only. So depending on the units, say if it is 0, 10, 20, 30. So class interval we had written there, na? 0 to 10 or 10 to 20 we have. I represent it like this. Next we have 20 to 30. Next we have 30 to 40. Then we have like this. Right? This is something called as a histogram. So the height of the bar show the frequency of the class interval. Here you just keep the heading as bars with a difference and put a hyphen as a histogram. Need not draw or anything because it's given in your book. One other point what you have to write here is the height of the bars. These are the heights, children, of the bars. Show the frequency. Show the frequency of class interval. And what we can say is, one more point, what is more important here is, there is no gap between the bars of the class interval. If you draw the bar, it becomes a bar graph then. So you want to draw a bar with a difference histogram with respect to grouped frequency level, then that is this way you have to represent it. So the graphical representation of data in this manner is called as a histogram. Right? The last one what we have is a circle or a pie chart. Now circle or a pie chart we will study, understand. When we start with that, I will have a again separate introduction class before I start with a circle or a pie chart. So what we will do is, based on this what we have studied, we first finish the exercise based on bar graph, double bar graph, histogram, tally, frequencies, how to make a class interval, etc. Right? The next session this today's class will be the only introduction session because I want you all to understand what I have explained, what is what, so that you can go through the textbook, see, compare, write it down neatly to the points what I have given, so that my tomorrow's session will be the exercise based on this. Then the next consecutive sessions we will go on understanding circle, pie chart or a different type of a graph.